Today, we talk rule changes. Welcome to West Nale Virus, everybody. Caleb and Josiah here, looking to spread the virus of sports. We love sports. That's why we're talking about them.
It's true. We do love sports. We've always played them. We've always watched them. And now we're talking about them.
This never ends. Today, we're talking about the NFL. They changed some rules.
Sure did.
Give our opinions. I've seen some reactions from other people across the industry. We'll talk about that.
I saw one group's reaction.
But first, we're on YouTube, West Nale Virus. We're on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, West Nale Virus. That's West Nale, Nale Virus. Follow us on there. We're also on Spotify, where you listen to podcasts, things like that. All right. Let's do this. I don't want to waste any more of your time.
Go.
We do not do this for a living.
Nope.
As you could probably tell. Yeah.
I am in a basement. I mean, not a basement. The opposite of a basement. What's above a basement?
An attic.
An attic. There's the word.
This is why we can't do it for a living yet, because
I don't know the word attic.
Yes. I lost my train of thought. That's the other reason. But we do not do this for a living. So, of course, we're always a day behind, right?
Yeah. We have to to get them up at roughly the same time. We have to pre-record a day ahead because our schedules are not centered around this podcast. The podcast schedule it will be someday, but right now the schedule of the podcast is centered around our daily lives, jobs and things.
All right. So this NFL rule change, the owners voted. What they are changing is that when it comes to playoff time, the postseason, both teams will be guaranteed a possession in overtime, no matter what happens. So if the team that wins the coin toss scores a touchdown, the other team will be guaranteed a possession and they must score
only in the playoffs.
Yes, but only in the playoffs. If the team that wins the coin toss scores a touchdown and the other team scores a touchdown, then it is sudden death. This was all, in my opinion, a reaction to the Bills-Chiefs playoff game last year when it went to overtime. The Chiefs won the coin toss and then proceeded to score a touchdown. I then looked up how many times it has happened, and it has happened since the rule change. 50% of the time, the team that wins the coin toss scores a touchdown. 50%
of the time, it works every time.
Yes. Since they took time off, since they shortened the overtime period, it has happened 54% of the time. Okay. Which is understandable, especially with the offense that we have, but we are here to react to this. Of course, we react to everything, right? That's what
we're very reactionary.
That's the sports world, the sports talk world, super reactionary. Some people
there's not much else to do in the sports talk world.
That is very true. Some react better than others. Some overreact. A lot of them over. Not naming names here, but yeah.
Just kidding. If you see this, Stephen A. Smith somehow.
It's fine. He does. Your reaction, Josiah, to this rule change in the NFL?
Well, to be honest with you, I like it. I think it's long overdue. Honestly, for me, college football, NCAA football does it perfectly. I don't know why you would do it any differently. Do it so that, you got both teams get a chance. Then triple overtime. Now it's sudden death.
Mm-hmm.
Done.
Yeah,
it's easy. I like the way they do that. I don't know why the NFL doesn't do it that way. And I understand why they just did it for the playoffs. I really do. And in a way, I kind of like it. But at the same time, it's just annoying that they haven't also done it for the regular season. Because
if you're going to change the rule, just change it.
Might as well just change it. Yeah, I don't really understand I understand why they did it, but I also don't understand exactly why they did it, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm. I think this was a reaction to the QB lovers.
Yeah,
that's the only reason. And I think they're completely missing the point of football, where a lot of people think we just want to see that the fans just want to see offense. Most likely, yes, but there is a defense. It's a team sport. If you can't get a stop, you don't deserve to win.
Right. Well, yeah, there's two sides to the coin, right? I mean, if both teams have a good offense and both teams have a bad defense, then it's even, but it's not even if you
lose the coin toss.
only one of you, if you lose the coin toss. It's not even if you lose the coin toss. But if both teams have a pretty solid defense and a pretty solid offense, then I mean, the coin toss doesn't matter as much, because that defense is a lot more likely to stop the offense. But in today's NFL, offenses are so just high powered. There's so much speed. The quarterbacks are so skilled. Mm-hmm. Especially once you get to the later rounds of the playoffs. It's a lot harder for defenses to just stop them every time. So I understand the change. I like the change. I think they just need to also implement it in the regular season, which I expect that they will. I think it'll just be a year or two before they do that.
Mm-hmm. I think the ideal situation, I'm with you. I like this change. I want it all year long. The ideal situation is what college football has. I like that.
Yeah.
I like college football.
I like the way college football does it. I don't know why you do it any differently. Works perfectly.
Does this benefit or hurt any team that you can think of right now?
Well, it definitely benefits the Chiefs because their defense sucks. And their offense, well, we'll see about their offense. It probably hurts some teams like maybe the Patriots and the Buccaneers are two that come to mind. Thinking. Maybe the 49ers.
Yeah.
It hurts a couple. If you have a, really good defense and not that great in offense, it probably hurts them a little bit, but I don't think it'll make too big a difference. I think it'll be pretty even. I think it makes everything more even.
Yeah.
So, because I think this way if you decided to focus your team on building a great offense or building a great defense, this way, it'll show either way. The other way, if it'll
always
focus,
be a question.
Yeah.
Sometimes I like it that way. That's what I enjoy about the BCS over what we have now in college football, is that we could say, yes, that was the 1 and 2 team facing off against each other in the BCS National Championship, but number 3 was also undefeated and they won their bowl game. So now, there could be sharing instead of not this playoff that no one likes, 14 playoff. That's what I liked about the BCS. There was always something up in the air and that we could debate.
Well, speaking of those other rules, like in football, are there any football rules you'd change?
There is one,
because we have each made a list of 3 rules that we would like to change in sports.
Mm-hmm.
And what is the football
even
rule you
one?
change?
And we're even going to get into one rule that is completely outside of sports.
Yes,
that we are going to change.
Yes, so basically
this is
a
podcast totally on rules. There was one more question that if you could. Before we get into that, I want to ask one more question on this NFL rule change. And that is, if you were the commissioner and you could change, or an owner, what would you present to the NFL for the perfect overtime? We've talked about college football. It can't be the same as college football overtime. What is your perfect NFL overtime? I'll start because I've thought about it. I threw that
Okay.
up. I threw that at you.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
That's right.
Mine would be if you score a touchdown, you have to go for 2. The same rules as it was previously, but you have to go for 2. If you do not get the 2-point conversion, the other team gets to go. If they get to have a possession, kickoff have a possession, and they have to go for two. Then it becomes sudden death. I don't know. That may be the same thing, but I think that you should have to go for 2.
Well, here's what I'm going to say to make it different than yours and different than the current way it is and different than the college football way that it is. Each team gets a possession. Start at the 50-yard line.
Okay.
Where do they start now?
It's a kickoff.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Start at the 50-yard line. No kickoff. Start at the 50-yard line. You each get a chance. And then second overtime, still each get a chance, but you start at the 40. And then you just keep doing that. Both teams get a chance every time until you're down to the 1-yard line, and then it's sudden death. That's a terrible rule change. But
I have heard, well, since we're just throwing stuff out there now, there was one that I saw that was pretty funny. And they said, because kickers are worthless in fantasy, we just make overtime just kicking. And
that's a great idea. I would love that.
And you start with a 40-yarder.
Oh my gosh, that would be amazing.
Yeah, 40 yards, 45, 50, and then you move it. I don't know. After that, you could move it another 5, or you could go 1 yard at a time. But the first team that misses, that's it. I mean, if the first team misses, the first kicker misses, then the second team's got to make it. But something like that. And then your kicker could score 1,000 points in fantasy, and I think that would be fun.
I think that would be a lot of fun, actually. That is my new proposed rule change.
I wouldn't mind.
Love that. That would be hilarious.
Or the other one that I just thought of right now. The
Ravens would win every game, though.
Every overtime game.
Yeah.
All right. Let's get into the 3 rules in sports that we would change. And that could be either changing a rule that is current, bringing back a rule that they took away, adding a new rule,
completely changing the sport in some way.
Yes, that is what we're going to do.
You could turn baseball into a fighting match.
No, I'm good.
Attack each other with the bats. That sounds fun to me.
No, that sounds like the Colosseum back when the Christians
that's gladiatorial
were eaten by
combat.
lions. Yeah. Well, since we're talking about NFL, and you asked me about a football rule change, I will start with my NFL rule change. There's a few things I would change, but the number one thing that I would change, and this took me a while to think of, but when I'm a Raiders fan, and Derek Carr does this a lot, he dives for the end zone, and then
you said dies.
Oh, dives.
Derek Carr dies all the time. It's
well, awful. At the beginning of his career, he got hit a lot, and I thought he was about to.
I'm not sure how David Carr is even alive. So
it's true. That's the Carr curse. But he dives for the end zone, and a lot of times he drops the ball, and it goes through the end zone, out of bounds.
That has happened to Derek Carr a few times, hasn't it?
And in college, it happened to him often too. Just Derek Carr's thing. And the rule is it's a touchback. The other team gets it at the 25, right? 20 or 25. I don't think that should be the case. I think it should be a loss of, like, you lose that down because you just lose that down and go back. So if it was 3rd and 10 or 3rd and goal on the 10, you dive. Now it's 4th and goal from the 10. If you fumble out of bounds anywhere else on the field, you get the ball where the ball goes out of bounds. If you're the offense, I believe. I know in college that's the case.
Yeah, that is the case, I believe.
Yeah. But here, so I would change it to where you don't lose possession.
I think that's good. If I were making that rule change, I would change it so that only applies to the sides of the end zone. If it somehow manages to go out the back of the end zone, still a touchback.
Okay.
If you're failing that hard.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's a lot of what ifs, but what if the other team, because that's a 12-yard end zone, the other team should, unless you completely chuck the ball through the back of it, you shouldn't be fumbling it that far. If the other team had an opportunity to fumble the ball, to recover the ball in the end zone for a touchback, then I don't see why you would turn it over if it just keeps.
Well, what if you are running in and it gets punched out right before you get into the end zone?
Oh, okay.
Then it goes out the back of the end zone. No one ever gets a chance to recover it. But then I could still see you saying just a loss of down.
Yeah. Like, what if that's right? 50-yard run, guy's running. He sticks the ball out. I forget the guy's lot. Was that his last name? I forget the Cowboys guy. Anyway, they punch it out, right? And that was it was second down and 12, and you had a great play. Go for it. But then, you fumbled it. All right, 3rd and 12.
Yep. Yeah, no, actually, I like that idea. I like your rule change.
Okay.
Voting approved.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I had an NFL rule change that I was going to say, but since I only have 3, I added in a bonus one because there was another thing I wanted to do. Anyways, it wasn't to the NFL, not to the NFL, just a completely different rule. I'll throw it in at the end. But the NFL rule change I was talking about is removing the taunting rule.
Yes, you have to.
Because what the frick?
Yeah, that's awful. That rule's terrible.
I don't understand it. Doesn't make a lot of sense. And in college football as well, celebration rule.
Yes.
Get that out of there.
You like how in the NFL playoffs, the taunting rule just went out the door. It was non-existent.
Yeah. Because it was stupid.
Yeah.
Everyone would have rioted. They would have killed the refs on their way home. Those refs' lives would have been in danger exiting some of those stadiums had they not done that.
Yeah. I like that rule change. I would get rid of that. Okay. Next one. If I were the commissioner of the baseball league, I think it's Rob Manfred. I am shortening the baseball schedule.
Manfred. Okay. Oh, okay. Very interesting.
That is they want to change rule. They have ruined baseball. I couldn't pick just one. So I thought, what is the one thing that will make baseball the most interesting? Because I love baseball. I love the amount of games they play. It is hard to follow. But the amount of games they play, how it was before they started changing all because they want to speed up the game, how it was before all those rule changes is perfectly fine. Switching pitchers in and out. That is the game of baseball. That is not why baseball is failing. And I think we've had an episode on the game of baseball. The game of baseball has a lot of other things going on and that is the reason why people are not watching. I think a shorter schedule where the games actually matter, that would improve baseball. So shorten this, like the COVID season was 60 games. I think that was still a little too much. I would maybe cut that in half to maybe 30 games. And then it would be a lot more fun to watch games.
And the original game, the regional schedule is how many games?
Like 162 games.
That is a lot of games.
Yeah.
And the COVID one was 60.
Yeah.
Wow. So, and you're proposing chop it down all the way from 162 games down to 30 games in a season.
Yes.
All right. That is a big change. But you know what they could do if they did that? That is so few games compared to their other. They could have 2 seasons a year.
That is true. Yes.
They could have 2 seasons a year. That is so many fewer games. They could have 2 seasons a year. Then
well,
you have
know what?
Two
what
national
really
champions every year.
This is what I would want to do.
And then they play each other.
Yes. I would make American baseball like the English Premier League or the English Soccer League. You have to have, there's so many teams. You have all the minor league teams like AAA, AA, single A, rookie ball, so many baseball players in the United States of America. We're going promotion relegation. You're all your individual teams. That'll never happen because they're all owned by multi-billion-dollar companies. So the government would actually have to come get involved to break up the monopoly on the MLB on baseball. And then different companies would have to come in, or different, basic companies, businesses start their own baseball teams. And then now it's the same as English soccer.
I'm proposing we do that thing as well, but to U.S. soccer. We've already talked about this plenty of times, but I think it's so stupid the way the MLS just sucks. And there is no flipping reason for anyone to cheer for an MLS team because there's no teams in my local area. The closest team to me is Atlanta United, who I love. I love watching Atlanta United games. I love going to Atlanta United games. But do you know how many Atlanta United games I went to this year?
0.
None. Yeah. Because they are an hour and a half away in the middle of Atlanta. It's hell to get down there, and it costs so much money. And then once you get inside, even though the Mercedes-Benz Stadium is very affordable in terms of food compared to other stadiums, it's still pretty expensive. And you have to wait in a 30-minute line. So it's a very inconvenient experience to even get to a game and have a good time at the game. It's hard to even get there in the first place. So if I had a team in, your Chattanooga, hometown, Tennessee, where I close, or my hometown, it would be way better. It would be way better. I'd love to go there. And there is a semi-pro team in Chattanooga, Tennessee, which I just mentioned. They're called the Chattanooga Red Wolves. But
they stay there.
They stay there.
Opportunity for them.
Yeah, they can't move up. They can't drop down. They can't get better. They can't get worse. There's no reason to go cheer for this team because what does this game mean? It's not the top level of soccer in our country, and they have no chance to get to the top level of soccer in our country. Right. So what am I cheering for?
There's no opportunity for them to get to the top because there was a soccer team in my hometown, right? That was semi-pro, but it's gone now. But there's no. Why am I going? Okay, we're going to win the league. We won the league. Yay. What happens? Oh, we're
semi-pro.
In the third semi-pro. There's 3 semi-pro leagues and we won one of them. Oh, do we have the opportunity to go up and now LA Galaxy is going to come to my town and play us? Nope. That'll never happen.
That's never going to happen. Absolutely not.
They just started a new league where now in the MLS where now you have LA Galaxy 2, Sounders 2, Sounders 3. Like, I don't care about any of those teams. None.
No one does.
And what's the point?
Those are scout teams, basically.
Yes. And basically what I have to look forward to is, this guy is really good. He will eventually be on the main team.
Right. But the thing is, that's the only people who will ever go to those games are people maybe like people who are in our position, but like way higher up. So like people who are scouting people, like saying, I want to talk about somebody on this team that's doing well. Looks like he's going to get brought up to the main team. There's this guy I've heard about or whatever. Those are the only people that are going to go. You're never going to get an audience or a following for the games other than scouts, media members sometimes, and other, the other members of the team.
Mm-hmm.
You're never going to get an audience for that.
No. And that is why MLB struggles with getting a face for the league, right? They've tried so hard for Mike Trout. They've done Fernando Tatis. They've Aaron Judge. They've tried all these different players, but how come none of them stick? And they just need to look at the MLS. Look at that. That is why there's so many players. There's so much movement going on with players. I can't get attached to anyone. The clubs are so big. But then the question is, Josiah, and the question will always be, How come the NFL is so successful compared to every other league?
Because the sport is so much different than every other sport. I mean, with the NFL, everything is slowed down in a way. I mean, even when you look at
everything matters. Every little thing.
Exactly. Every game matters. Every play matters.
You could argue that is going on in everything it matters in all the other leagues, but does it scream at you? Does it get in your face? No. Every little trade, every single play is right in front of your face and actually is screaming at you in the NFL. In the MLB,
because you have to go 100 yards facing 11, 300-pound men trying to stop you. And to do that is going to take tons of tries. And every time you do it, it's amazing. And one touchdown could change the course of your entire season.
Mm-hmm.
And in soccer, I score a goal. Yay.
Well, it
great.
Doesn't matter.
But it doesn't really matter in the long run. No. And I understand that technically it could, if you got down to the end of the season and, you or someone else is getting in and you are one goal behind them. Sure. One goal way back there could have mattered, but that's barely ever going to happen.
It's not in your face. There's no threat of being kicked out of the league or relegation. There's no opportunity for promotion in any of these leagues,
right?
In the MLS, in the MLB, and people try to do what the NFL is doing because they see the popularity of the NFL, but they do not realize.
It's a different sport.
Yes, it's a different sport entirely.
Sport because,
we got to move on.
Yeah,
it's an entirely different sport. You have to run things differently. Okay, so
yes.
One more rule for sports. Well, technically you have two because you are a cheater and you added another one. But
I'm a cheater. That is true.
My rule is a little political. I'm sorry. We say we're not going to get political on here. But it says, if you are born as a biological male, you cannot compete in women's sports.
Ooh,
that is my rule.
There's a lot of people who have come out on both sides of this issue. A lot of very famous people, many of whom their opinion don't matter. But it's just a personal thing of mine where all these famous people come out and everyone's like, oh, did you see Cher's opinion on this? I'm like, what does Cher know about that? Anyways.
When I see the swimmer, did you see the NCAA
Thomas,
swimmer?
Yes.
Dominate. And
absolutely dominate the women's team, or her team, every other team. She won everything.
Yeah. Who is born a biological male, whose bones and muscles are, and this is a fact, are bigger and stronger than, and I'm sure has way more testosterone than the other women.
Vast majority of females on this planet.
Yes. Then that person cannot be swimming with the
right. Here's the thing to me. I mean, I agree. When look at who has come out on this issue that does matter. To me, one that I do think would matter a lot, Caitlyn Jenner.
Oh, yes. Yeah. And she came out and said,
nope, don't believe it. Unacceptable. That should not happen.
Yeah. We should find the quote.
That's what I'm looking.
Yeah.
Looking for.
No, you can't. You can't do that. And especially when that former man breaks every single record, that should say something.
Caitlyn Jenner says trans swimmer Leah Thomas is not the rightful winner of the NCAA title. It's not transphobic or anti-trans. It's common sense, said the transgender ex-athlete, Caitlyn Jenner.
Yes. ex-Olympic gold medalist.
Olympic gold medalist, not just athlete.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's my rule change.
Yeah. All right. Well, there you go. That is a little political, but
it is, but it's not.
It's not fair to women.
No.
To say here, you can have your sport, but also here's some men who are going to win every time. So you don't really have your sport.
Right.
That's just, it's not fair. No. My rule is a little less controversial, I think. In the NBA, I think the defensive 3-second rule is the dumbest thing in the history of freaking basketball. It is so stupid. I hate the defensive 3-second rule, and I think they need to just take it out completely. This would change the game so much. Mm-hmm. NBA defenses, or NBA teams on defense, I should say, NBA teams on defense cannot run anything other than man. That is literally other than man-on-man defense, which
that is a rule. You cannot play zone.
That is the rule. You cannot play zone. And that changes the game so much. And I think changing that would help me and a lot of people gain a lot of interest back in the NBA again, because that changes it from, okay, you got Giannis Antetokounmpo and LeBron James, and you can only have one or two people guarding them at all time. But if you have two people guarding them, then someone else who's in the NBA, so is obviously a very good basketball player, is completely wide open over there on the other side of the court.
Right.
Why? If you change this rule, you can move to zone defense, and then you've got 4 guys standing, out here.
Well, I don't know if you could change the rule totally to get zone back in. You could say we're getting rid of defensive 3 seconds, but you could still say, but you can't play zone.
Well, frick it then. Just take the whole thing away, and you can play zone. I want them to be able to play zone defense.
Okay.
That's what I want, because I think it would give a lot of teams that don't have that 1-star player a better chance. I mean, and I feel like that 1-star player has kind of become a more prevalent thing in the good teams of late, with Giannis and Curry. And I think the Warriors are somewhat of an exception with Draymond Green, Klay Thompson, Steph Curry.
Well, no one will ever zone them because they'll destroy them.
Exactly.
Shoot lights out. But a team like the Lakers,
exactly.
Russell Westbrook, LeBron James, who I don't consider a great shooter. And I don't consider really anyone on their team great shooters. I would zone them. And now you have 3 guys.
Well, yeah, now you
low.
can't have Russell Westbrook, who's one of the leading, cutters.
I would say he's the most physical point guard around.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know about leading, but he's very, very good at driving in and getting to the basket, getting close up points.
And so is LeBron. So is Anthony Davis.
So is Anthony Davis. Exactly.
So if you zone them, that changes the Lakers completely.
Exactly.
I mean, it makes them even worse than they are right now.
Yeah, I mean, they're not exactly doing that well. But yeah, I do think it would help a lot of people gain interest back in the league again. And it was a rule implemented to try and gain more interest in the league. They're trying to make it more high octane, more energy, more quick paced. But if you're just running down, shoot the ball, run down, shoot the ball, run down, shoot the ball. I mean, that's pretty much all it is.
No,
there is no defense.
Run, dunk, run, dunk.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Run, dunk. Oh, dunk. It's not even impactful anymore.
No, it's not impressive anymore.
No, because
there's
only one guy playing defense on you.
I see middle scorers dunking the ball now. So
yeah. I hate that rule. That is the rule I would change.
That's an interesting one. What's your last one? You just want to throw
my last one is I would add a sport to the Olympics.
And that sport would be
ripstick tag.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's a game. No one has heard of this. If you have,
no one has ever heard of this.
On you.
We invented it.
This game. You get on a ripstick and you basically crash into each other. Knock everyone off the ripstick.
You have to knock everyone else off the ripstick, and you can only use your ripstick. You cannot use your hands. You cannot use your upper body to make contact.
Yes. If you don't know what a ripstick is, it's like a skateboard. It has but it only has 2 wheels, and you have to wobble the board back and forth. So
you can look it up.
Yeah. You're going like this with your feet if you're on YouTube, and you make the board go. So you can flick your heel or something, and
you can get take this back one when you're gliding, dip it down, up and under.
Yeah.
So it's very dangerous and very fun. Yeah. And any children that are playing or that are listening, I did not recommend you to play it, but it is very fun.
Okay, that would be fun. Yeah, I'm down for that. That would actually be very entertaining.
It would be very entertaining to watch professional ripstick tag players.
Our last rule change for the episode, we're leaving the sports world.
Yes, we are.
And we're going to
change a real life world.
Yes, there you go. All right, my first one. This one was really hard because there's a ton. I live in California, so I would change
There's a lot of rules in California that need changing right now.
So I'm just gonna the two that I was debating about with myself was the drinking age, and the one I'm going with is I would like to make a rule where you have to be 16 or 18 to have a phone, to have a smartphone.
Oh,
yes. I would like to. I know I'm not for a bunch of rules. I believe in America and the free country that we are, but the phone is killing our society. The smartphone is killing our society. So I would like to ban smartphones until you are a certain age. And it is actually proven to affect your brain. The use of phones affects your brain like drugs or fast food or porn, things like that. So if we can wait until kids are a little bit older and they actually want to interact with people and call their friends, they learn how to call their friends and just talk with them. I think that would be good and a lot better for American society.
You know what? That is a very interesting, that is something I actually hadn't thought about before, but I would definitely take it. I will definitely be thinking about that. That is if that was put in front of me as a, hey, you're the president, veto this or don't. I don't know.
Yeah.
That might be an interesting.
Unfortunately, that's not how the presidential position works, but
well, yeah, I know. I mean, I know there's still hoops it's got to go through, but I'm saying, that is the closest funnel in terms of there's one man in charge at that moment. Right. You can veto this or not. But
all right, what's yours, Josiah?
For me, it is the rule in California. And here's the thing. I could not find, for the life of me, what the actual law or bill or executive order or whatever it is that causes this in some states. It's not in all states. I know it's in California. It's in some other states. I think I heard it's in New Mexico, Arizona. I could be wrong about that. I don't know. It's in some states.
Okay.
But I know it's in California.
Essentially
what they do is, yes. What they do is they because of big internet companies coming in and taking over everywhere, and everyone just uses them and is creating these big monopolies. What they do is instead create a bunch of little tiny monopolies where everyone can only use one internet provider in a very wide region. And if that internet provider sucks, well, guess what? Screw you.
Too bad.
Too bad. Everyone else has better internet than you. You're a loser. Like that's it. You 38% of Americans, approximately, from the data that I found, which could be wrong, but from what I found, 38% of Americans only have access to one internet provider. Now 14%
That's a lot of Americans.
That is a lot of Americans. 14% of Americans reportedly have access to no internet providers. So,
that's interesting. I did not know that.
That is interesting.
That's a lot of Americans without internet.
I know. It makes me wonder, though, if that is a conscious decision on a lot of their parts.
Yes.
Because it's pretty hard not to have access to the internet at this point. But anyways, yeah, that's the rule I'd change. Take away these monopolies. I don't think they need to, but the way specifically that I would change it is if a company is getting to a certain point where you think it's getting, close to a monopoly type company, where if you keep letting them spread, then they'll just keep spreading and they'll be unstoppable. Then you say, all right, no more regions for you. Wherever you are now, you're done. You can't spread anymore. You can't add any regions. If you want to add a region, you got to drop a region or whatever, kind of thing. So instead of saying only this company can work here, say only these companies can't work here.
I see.
Yeah. Ban the big companies instead of just giving it to one company. Because stopping monopolies is important. In our society, the way it works right now, because if you didn't, Amazon and Disney would rule everything, and I don't think anyone wants that. Well, I mean, they do, but even more so than they do already.
Yes, that's true.
And I don't think anyone wants that. So, I mean, especially with all the things with, Amazon's human rights violations.
So we went from a sports podcast, we don't talk anything political, to straight, we don't talk sports anymore.
Now we are just talking laws that we would change.
Yes.
Every episode will be on how we should change laws, and we're definitely still remaining unpolitical. So
yes. No, I think those are good rules, and I suffer from that law, and I know that's how you know about it.
That is absolutely how I know about it. I have suffered by proxy through you guys for the last 15 years. So ever since we started gaming on the internet together, it has been a.
And I suffer from poor internet, but I don't have a choice. And it's not just me; it's the rest of my family.
And also, by the way, your phone towers. And you do live out in the country, and that's why. But boy, well, you should walk around his house. I mean, don't do that because that would be very illegal. But
I will probably shoot you.
Yeah. So don't walk around his house. But if he ever invited you to, get on the phone with somebody, walk around his house, and see how long it takes for you to drop the phone call. Because there are about 3 specific spots in his house where you can talk on the phone with someone, and everywhere else.
It's only 2.
And there's 2 spots in his house where you can talk on the phone. And when I mean spots, I mean about like a 5 by 5 foot area.
Yeah, you can't leave.
You cannot leave this very small. You've got a little area and you're stuck there. If you leave, the phone call is dropping. It's like something out of a movie, some sort of comedy show. It's ridiculous. I was so confused when I first found out about it, but it's ridiculous. That crap needs to get fixed.
It actually is being fixed as we speak. So
it is being fixed where you live.
Yes.
But there are still other people suffering.
Yes.
So we need to fix it for everyone.
Yes. I'm talking phone and internet. Where I live, it is being fixed.
Yes. Equality.
Equal opportunity.
Equal internet.
Yes. Right. So we went from NFL playoff rule change to hypothetical rule changes that we would make in sports to hypothetical laws that we would change in real life that is never going to happen. But
Nope.
It was fun. Thank you, Josiah.
Because we aren't lawmakers.
Nope. Maybe we should run for political.
You wouldn't win.
No. But if you would like those rules changed as well, please run for office. I will vote for you.
Yes. I will vote for you solely based on changing MLS soccer to a promotion relegation system. I will vote for you.
Yes. Well, thank you, everybody. Reminder, you can follow us at West Nile Virus on all social media platforms. Not all, the big ones: Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. And follow us on YouTube. Subscribe, hit the like, comment, things that you would like to see changed, rules that you would like to see changed. And we will see you guys at the next one. Thanks for listening.
Thank you very much.